Every step you take can feed your garden. What if every time you walked through your garden, you were actually fertilizing it? Not spreading compost with a shovel, not turning piles, not mixing fertilizers, just walking? That's the idea behind the living compost pathway, a simple, beautiful system that combines garden walkways with slow, steady soil building beneath your feet. This isn't just about convenience. Living pathways turn wasted garden space into living, breathing compost beds. They improve soil fertility, increase microbial life, retain moisture, and eliminate muddy trails, all while making your garden look like something out of an old-world permaculture paradise. Let's get into how this works and how you can build one in your own garden step by step. At its core, a living compost pathway is a layered trench filled with organic material that slowly breaks down over time. Think of it like a subsurface compost pile you can walk on. As the materials decay, they release nutrients downward into the soil, feeding plant roots on either side of the path. Microbes, fungi, and worms thrive in this moist, aerated environment, breaking down leaves, straw, and food scraps into humus, the dark, crumbly organic matter that holds moisture and nutrients. The result is a continuous nutrient exchange happening right beneath where you step. What's remarkable is that these pathways can last for years with almost no maintenance. Instead of compacting the soil as walking often does, you're activating it. Beneath every footstep, a living ecosystem works around the clock, enriching your garden naturally. Start by looking at your existing garden layout. Anywhere you frequently walk, between raised beds, along rows of crops, or around fruit trees, can become a composting path. For small gardens, one central walkway can make a dramatic difference. For larger spaces, you can design a branching system of paths, like arteries that circulate life through your garden. Just make sure the paths don't interfere with water drainage. Compost pathways absorb water beautifully, but you don't want them flooding during heavy rains. A width of about 40 to 50 centimeters is ideal for a comfortable walkway that's still easy to build and maintain. Everything you need is likely already in your garden or kitchen. The beauty of this system is that it turns organic waste into structure and fertility. Here's what you'll need. Media group, collection of brown compost materials, pile of dry leaves, straw, shredded cardboard, small sticks, wood chips, sawdust, stock distribute the equally brown materials, or carbon sources like dry leaves, straw, shredded cardboard, small sticks, wood chips, or sawdust. Green materials, which provide nitrogen, include grass clippings, vegetable peels, garden trimmings, or manure. For the base layer, use rough sticks, twigs, or small branches to create airflow at the bottom. And for the top layer, wood chips, coarse mulch, or coarse bark give you a firm walking surface. The key is balance. Too much green and it can get soggy or smelly. Too much brown and decomposition will slow down. Aim for a rough 3-to-1 ratio of browns to greens by volume. Start by digging a shallow trench about 20 to 30 centimeters deep along the desired walkway. The width should match your garden's layout, enough for comfortable movement without wasting space. Place a layer of sticks or small branches at the bottom, about 5 centimeters thick. This keeps the composting layers aerated and prevents waterlogging. Next, add a thin layer, say 5 to 8 centimeters, of green materials such as grass clippings, kitchen scraps, or fresh plant trimmings. These provide nitrogen, and the fuel microbes need to start decomposition. Cover the greens with a thicker layer of browns, dry leaves, straw, or shredded cardboard. This traps odors, balances moisture, and slows down the breakdown so the path doesn't collapse too quickly. Alternate layers of greens and browns until your trench is slightly above ground level. As it decomposes, it will settle naturally. Finish with a thick top layer, about 5 to 10 centimeters, of coarse wood chips or bark to create a durable, dry surface for walking. Before you walk on it, lightly water the path to kickstart microbial activity. Moist, not soggy, is the goal. Think of a wrung-out sponge. As your pathway decomposes, it acts like a slow-release compost system. Nutrients leach out laterally and downward into the surrounding soil, feeding the root zones of nearby plants. This is particularly effective in raised beds, where the paths sit directly alongside the growing area. Over time, the difference becomes obvious. The plants closest to the pathways grow more vigorously, develop deeper roots, and resist stress better. In essence, you're creating in-ground worm hotels. Worms migrate from the pathway into nearby beds, aerating the soil and spreading castings as they go. Microbial activity flourishes, and the entire system becomes self-sustaining. The best part about compost pathways is that they maintain themselves. Every 6 to 12 months you can refresh the top few inches by raking back the mulch and adding a new layer of greens and browns underneath. You can also sweep in garden debris, pruned leaves, or grass clippings from your paths as they appear. The pathway happily swallows it all. If your path ever feels too soft or sinks over time, just add more mulch on top. In cooler months, decomposition slows down, but microbial life continues below the surface. By spring, you'll find that your path has settled a bit. That's your cue that nutrients have been delivered to the root zones nearby. In permaculture design, every part of the garden should serve multiple functions. A living compost pathway embodies that principle perfectly. It's not just a walkway, it's a nutrient highway, a worm habitat, a moisture regulator, and a soil conditioner all in one. Unlike traditional paths that separate growing areas, this system connects them, both physically and biologically. The result is a garden that functions as one living organism, with every step you take helping to sustain the life beneath. You can even experiment with variations. Some gardeners incorporate biochar, seaweed, or fermented compost teas into the lower layers to enrich them further. Others plant low-growing herbs like creeping thyme or chamomile along the edges to add fragrance and attract pollinators. After a single season, you'll notice your pathways transforming into rich, dark soil underneath. If you ever need extra compost, you can even scoop out the bottom layer of an old path and use it as top dressing for your garden beds. Then simply rebuild the path again. It's a never-ending compost cycle. Over time, the soil across your entire garden becomes softer, more fertile, and teeming with life. Your plants will reward you with stronger growth, better flavor, and deeper resilience. Building a living compost pathway is one of those rare garden projects that gives back more than it takes. With just a shovel, a few armfuls of organic material, and a bit of time, you can turn your daily steps into a quiet act of soil building. So the next time you stroll through your garden, remember, you're not just walking on a path. You're walking on a living, breathing compost system that feeds your plants as you move. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Gentle Herb Living for more regenerative gardening secrets. Share this with a fellow gardener who's ready to make every step count.